Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we understood what is WebMVC and how to develop a project by using WebMVC in the Spring Boot. Online people, can you hear me? Online students, am I audible? Yeah, perfect. Guys, can you tell me what is MVC architecture? What is MVC architecture? Dispatcher servlet will be available, handler mapper, controller, view resolver, and view. What is the purpose of view resolver? It is responsible to identify where the view files are available in our project. What is the purpose of view component? To render model data on the view file. What is a handler mapper? It will identify which request should be handled by which controller class. What is a dispatcher servlet? It is used to perform pre-processing and post-processing of a request, right? When client send a request, that will go to dispatcher servlet. It will perform the pre-processing and it will perform the post-processing of the request. Got it? Fine. Now here I created one project, and in that project we are writing some methods, right? Controller methods we are writing, and in that controller method we are taking get mapping. What is the meaning of get mapping? That method is binded to get request. What is the purpose of request param? What is the purpose of request param? To capture the data from the request. What is the purpose of this model object? What is the purpose of model object? It is used to send the data from controller to UI, right? I want to send some data from controller to UI. For that, we are using model object. Model will set the data in the form of key and value. Model will set the data in the form of key and value. That key we can access in the view page. Now you see, this is my view page. In that view page, I'm accessing $of_key.book ID. $of_key.book ID means I want to get the ID of the book from the book object. Book.book ID we are calling. Perfect. Now here, next one, we have taken one requirement. We need to develop a project for this requirement. In this requirement, course names should come from database table, and the timings also should come from database table. That we can do it. Before going to do that, we need to understand what is Spring MVC form tag library. We need to understand what is Spring MVC form tag library. Now here, Spring WebMVC module provided some set of tags to develop our form easily. To develop the forms easily, Spring WebMVC provided one form tag library. So now I want to display a drop down. In my drop down, I want to get some data as values. I want to display some radio buttons. I want to display some checkboxes. Here, instead of we are hard coding the data, we can send the data from Java class to form, and form data we can take into Java class. That is called form binding. So here, predefined tags provided to simplify forms development. In order to simplify the forms development, they provided several predefined tags. Now, what are the tags available? We have a tag called form tag. One tag is available with a name called form. Sir, here form is a tag and this form is a prefix. When we used JSTL, C: for each, C: out, C: if, like that we have used C as a prefix to use the tag library. In the Spring MVC, form is a prefix. form, it represents a form. If you want to write a form in the UI or in the JSP, that we will represent by using form. Suppose if you want to represent one text field, then we will go for a tag called input tag. Input represents text field. I want to display one text field. To display the text field, what is the disturbance, man? Outside. Yeah. Form is there. What is the purpose of the form? To develop a form. In that form, I want to display one text field. To display the text field, we will go for input. Then next one, here I want to display password. Then I will go for password. What is the difference between input and password? Both are text fields only. But when you go for input, whatever we type, we can see that. But if it is a password, it will hide the data. It will display ... like that. So to write the field with a two, if you want to develop a text field, if you want to display a text field, then you can go for input. If you want to display a text field for the password, then you can go for password. Similarly, if you want to display one radio button, radio. To display one radio button, radio button is available. Radio button. And we are having radio buttons also. There is if you want to display single radio button, radio button. If you want to display multiple radio buttons, radio buttons available. And similarly, select is available. If you want to display a drop down, then we will go for select. To display a drop down, select. Now I am giving a drop down in the course, right? If you see our requirement, for course drop down is available. To display the drop down, we will write select. In that drop down, I want to display some options, right? Course Java, Python, AWS, DevOps. I want options in the drop down. To display one option, we can go for option tag. To display one option, we can go for option tag. If you want to display list of options, my options are coming from the database, then I can go for options tag. So to give only one option, we can go for option tag. If you want to give multiple options, we will go for options tag. Similarly, we are having checkbox. Checkbox available and checkboxes also available. And there is another tag called hidden tag is available. If you want to write any hidden variable, I want to store the value to the variable, but I don't want to display. That is a hidden variable. If you want to deal with any hidden variable, then you can go for hidden. So these are the tags that are provided by Spring MVC form tag library. Predefined tags provided to simplify our form development. What is the purpose of form? To represent a form. What is the form input? To display a text field. I want to display a text field to take the password data. Then I will go for form password. I want to display radio button, form radio button. If I want to display multiple radio buttons as a collection, radio buttons. To display a drop down, form select. In that drop down, I want multiple values. To display the values in the drop down, form option and form options and form checkbox and form checkboxes. What is the meaning of checkbox and checkboxes? Yes, single checkbox, multiple checkboxes and form hidden. Like this in the Spring MVC form tag library, several predefined tags are available. Now, I want to develop one project by using form tag library. Got it? And here in this form, what we have, if you see our form is available like this. For this form, I need to create one binding class. This is my form, guys. This is my form. Do I need to capture my form data or MVC will capture my form data? Do I need to capture the form data or MVC will capture the form data? MVC will capture the form data. Here, I will create one class with a name called student. I will create a class with a name called student. In the student class, I will write the variables string name and string email and string gender and string course. What about the timings? One value or multiple values? Multiple values. To represent multiple values, I'm taking string array, right? Name is a single value, email is a single value, gender is a single value, course is also a single value, timings are multiple. Student can select any checkbox. He can select 1, he can select 2, he can select 3 also. To store more than one value to the variable, I'm going for array concept. Now, this is my form binding class. For this class, I will write @data. What is the purpose of @data? Setters and getters I want to generate for this class. Now, here, assume that this is my form binding class. What is the meaning of form binding class? The Java class which is mapped to the form is called as a form binding class. Now, whenever we are developing any form in the WebMVC, the first thing you need to identify what are the fields available in the form. For those fields, what Java class is required, what variables are required. Now, this complete form will be mapped to my Java class. Student inquiry form is mapped with the student class. So how that mapping will happen? Student inquiry form is mapped with the student class. That means whenever you submit student form, that form data should be captured and should be stored into student class object. If it is a servlet, what will happen? We need to write the logic. Request.get parameter of name, request.get parameter of email, request.get parameter of gender, request.get parameter of course, request.get parameter of timings. We need to write it. But here, do I need to capture the form data? My dispatcher servlet can capture the form data. Dispatcher servlet can capture the form data. We need to tell to dispatcher servlet, this form data should be stored into which class object. This form data should be stored into which class object. We need to tell to dispatcher servlet. And in that also, which field data should be stored into which variable in the class. Name field data should be stored into name variable. Email field data should be stored into email variable. Gender data should be stored into gender variable. Course data should be stored into course variable. Timings data should be stored into timings variable. That is called form binding. I am binding my form fields to Java class variables. Why we need to bind form fields to Java class variable? So that when you submit the form, dispatcher servlet will take the form data and will store into Java class variables. So when you submit the form, you will get the form data into student object. Which field data will go to which variable? That mapping we have to create. I am going to develop a form. In that form, I am going to tell name field data. Name is a text field. This text field data should be stored into student class name variable. Are you getting my point? Here, email text field is available. Email text field data should be stored into email variable in the class. Like this, I will establish relation between form fields and Java class variables. Are you guys able to follow me? Tell me, what is the form binding in the WebMVC? What is form binding in the WebMVC? Establish, listen. What is the entity class? Entity classes are nothing but the class which is mapped to database table. Class name will be mapped to table name. Variable names will be mapped to column name. Entity is different. Form binding is different. Form binding is similar to entity, but entity is used to map to table, but form binding class is used to map with the form fields. Now, I have a name variable. Which data should be stored into name variable? Whatever the data you enter in the name field, that data should be stored into name variable. How we are going to map it? To map the form to the class, we are going to use a concept called model attribute. What is the purpose of a model attribute? Model attribute is used to map our form data to Java class object. In that, which field should be stored to which variable, that I will map by using path attribute. I will map that by using path attribute. So here, name field should be mapped to name variable. Email field should be mapped to email variable. Gender should be mapped to gender variable. Now here, form to class mapping will happen by using model attribute. Field to variable mapping will happen by using path attribute. Are you guys clear with my point? Yes. Now, with this knowledge, can we start our form development? With this knowledge, can we start our form development? Yes, let's start it. Yeah, tell me, what is the form tag library in the MVC? What is the form tag library in the MVC? MVC form tag library provided predefined tags to simplify our forms development. Okay, what are the tags they provided? Form colon input, form colon password, form colon radio button and radio buttons, form colon select, form colon option, form colon options, form colon checkbox, checkboxes, and hidden. Right. Now, how to map form data to the Java class object? How to map the form data to Java class object? To map form data to Java class object, we will go for model attribute. We will go for model attribute. What is the purpose of path attribute? What is a model attribute? What is a path attribute? Model attribute is used to map our form to Java class. Path? Path. What about path? Path is used to map our field to variable. Which field should be mapped to which variable? We will do that by using path attribute. Are you able to follow me? Right. Now, let's start the development. File, new, starter project. In this project, I'm going to keep this as 15 WebMVC student app. Okay. This is my student application, Maven, var, Java 11, language Java. Next, Lombok I'm using. Database I'm not using now. I will use that later point of time. Okay. Lombok, web, and DevTools. What are the dependencies I'm taking? I'm taking Lombok dependency. I'm taking web dependency and DevTools. What is the purpose of web dependency? What is the purpose of web dependency? Web dependency used to create the web application. Lombok for setters and getters. DevTools to restart the server. Click on next, finish. Yeah, project is created. Let us add Tomcat embed Jasper. Why Tomcat embed Jasper? Yes, to compile our JSP. take from the previous project and keep in the current project form.xml. Starter Tomcat, right. Let me add Tomcat embed Jasper. Perfect. Okay. Close this project, unrelated project. Perfect. First, let me create my form binding class. Can I create my form binding class first? Yes. Go to this. Let me create a class with the name called binding, form binding, or else I'm giving the package name as binding. I'm taking this as a student, right? Take the variables. In my form, what are the fields available? Name, email, gender, course, timings. One name will be available, okay? And one email ID will be available. One gender will be available. And one course will be available. What about timings? What about timings? Array. I'm taking it as timing. Name, email, gender, course, and timings. Generate setters and getters at the rate data. Setters, getters got generated. Perfect. Now, with this, my binding class is ready. Now, let me create a controller. New class. Keep a package called controller. Here, I'm going for student controller. Student controller, I want to represent that as a controller. For that, I'm going for @controller annotation. Now, first up, I will write one method, public string load index page. Now, for this, I'm writing @get mapping. Now, I will give the URL pattern as a // Okay. In this index page, I'm taking model object as a parameter. Now, return, I'm going to do index. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? This method is responsible to return index as a view name. Now, what I will do is, when this page is loading, I want to observe carefully. When this page is loading, I want to tell that this page belongs to student class object. This is not a normal page. This is a binding page. This page data should be stored into student object. Now in this class, in this method, I will create one object for the student. Student object is equal to new student. Any data available or data not available? Data not available. Now, this student object, I will send from controller to UI to bind that object to the form. How to send the data from controller to UI? How to send the data from controller to UI? To send the data from controller to UI, I will use model object. Now here I will take model dot add attribute key comma value. Key can be anything and value is our student object. That's it. With this, my controller method is ready. With this, my controller method is ready. Now I am taking a class. For that class, I am giving controller annotation. I am writing a method. What is a method parameter? Model. What is the method return type? String. What is this string representing? What is this string representing? String representing view page. What is this model representing? Model representing data that you want to send from controller to UI in the form of key and value. Now, I have one index method. I want to load the index page. Now, create index page, src main web app. You can create a folder, views. In that, you can create a page, new JSP, new other JSP. That file name I am giving as index.jsp. File name I am giving as index.jsp. Finish. With this, my JSP page is created. Now let me write some H2 student form. Student inquiry form. Nothing, just I'm writing one H2 message. Go to our properties file, configure view resolver. Right. Spring dot, come on. Spring dot mb prefix is equal to /views. Spring dot mbc dot view dot suffix is equal to .jsp. I'm configuring my view resolver. Now you observe, I created a project. In that project, I created one binding class with a name called student. In that class, I am writing some variables, setters, getters. Then I created a controller. In the controller, I created a method. In that method, I am taking model as a parameter. Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. What data I am sending? One empty student object I am sending from controller to view page. Then I am returning the view page as an index. I created index.jsp. Let us run our application. I configured view resolver. Where is my view file and what is the extension of the view file? Now, right click, run as boot application. Right click, run as boot application. Clear the console. Now go to browser, localhost colon 8080. Are we able to see the inquiry form? Yes, we are able to see the inquiry form. The page is loaded. Index page is loaded. In that index page, I need to write this presentation logic. Some text field, some radio button, some drop down I want to display. Now go to this form. In this JSP, to develop the form, I'm going to use form tag library. Am I going to develop a normal form or Spring MVC form? Spring MVC form. To develop the Spring MVC form, what they have done? Form tag library they have provided. Now observe carefully. In order to use form tag library, control double space. We need to go for control double space. When I do control double space, I will get the tag lib directive. When I click on the tag lib directive, I'm getting the options by default. I need to go for which tag? Form tag. What is the prefix? That is the form only. Now I'm adding that once again. Observe. If you want to develop your forms by using MVC tag library, then you need to add the tag library URL. Control double space in the JSP. Then you will get the tag lib directive. Select it. In that you have two options, tag option, tag/form option. I need form option because I want to develop form. Go for the form, control space. Prefix is coming as form. By using this prefix, I can access all these tags. What is this form now? That is a prefix of my form tag library. You understand? Now, we need to add this line in the JSP. To use form tag library in JSP, to use Spring MVC form tag library in JSP, we have to add below tag lib URL. Right? This is our tag lib URL that we need to add in the JSP. Now, by using prefix, we can access tags like below. Now form is my prefix. Form colon input, form colon password, radio button, select option, checkbox hidden. All these tags I can access with the prefix now. Now I want to display one form. Okay. What is the tag to display the form? Come on guys. What is the tag to display the form? To display the form, I need to write form colon form. Form colon form. See the tags available? Form colon button, form colon checkbox, form colon checkboxes, form colon error, form hidden, input, label, option, options, password. These are all the tags that we are having. Select, text area, radio button, radio buttons, password, option, options, like that. There are several tags are available. Yeah, there are several tags are available in order to develop this form. Got my point? Here we are able to write form tag library URL. When we write that form tag library URL, by using the tag library, we can access all the tags. Now I am writing form:form, right? So for the form:form, I'm going to give attributes. What are the attributes? Action and model attribute and method. Okay, I'm writing action, model attribute and method. What is the purpose of action? Come on guys, what is the purpose of action? When I perform the operation, to which action it has to send the request. When I do some submit, to which action it has to send the request. Guys, 1 minute. Machine number పంపించండి. Yeah, all right guys. Now look at this. So here I'm writing form:action and model attribute and method. I want to send a post request. So what is the method I am writing? Method I am writing as a post. Model attribute. What is the purpose of this model attribute? What is the purpose of model attribute? It is used to map our form to Java class. Now in my method, if you see controller, what is the key of the object? Student. Now take this and keep it here. With this, I'm able to map my Java class to the form. That means whenever you submit this form, that the data should be stored into that class object. Now action I'm giving it as something like a save. So currently, is there any method which is belongs to save? Not available. We will develop that. Currently what I have done, form:form, action is equal to save, model attribute is equal to student, method is equal to post. What is the meaning of action attribute? What is the meaning of action attribute? Come on guys. When I submit this form, what should happen? That is represented by action. What is this model attribute? Binding. This form is binded to which class object? Now, how that object is coming to the UI? Controller is sending that object in the model object. What is the purpose of this model? To send the data from controller to UI. In that UI, I'm accessing that object by using this key. I'm using that key. Key name I'm giving, method is equal to post. Now let me go for table. Inside the table, I will write a tr. Then inside that I will write a td. Here I will write one td name and I will write one more td. In this, I want to represent a text field, guys. I want to represent one text field. Okay. Now to represent a text field, what is the tag that we have? What is the tag we have to represent a text field? Form:input. Now let us go for our web page. Now refresh. Currently in the web page, what is coming? Just a label is coming. Text field is coming or text field is not coming? Text field is not coming. Now I want to display text field here. Go to our JSP. In this JSP, I will write a text field form colon input. Form colon input, path is equal to, what is the meaning of a path? What is the meaning of a path? Binding class variable. It is name text field data should be mapped to name variable. Path is equal to name. Path is equal to name. Now let us go here and refresh. Am I able to get the text field? Yes. If I write some data, that is visible. So text field is available. Suppose, for example, observe the real behavior of the form binding. What object I am sending? Student object. Does it have any data or it does not have any data? It does not have any data. Okay. Let me store some data. Student object dot set name. Some name I am giving as Raja. Okay, guys. I'm storing the data into student object. That student object I'm sending to UI. Now refresh. What happened? How that value coming to that text field? There is a mapping between the Java class and the form field, or mapping is not available? Mapping is available. How I establish mapping between my form and Java class? Path attribute and model attribute. Now tell me, what is the purpose of that model attribute and path attribute? Model attribute is used to bind a form to Java class. What is the path? Field to variable. Which field data should be stored to which variable? That mapping is created. Now observe. I'm going to write one more method in my controller. I'm going to write one more method in the controller. That method is used to save the student record. Okay, here I'm going to take save student. Save student. Now return type is the string only. Now here I will give this as post mapping. Post mapping with the slash save. User record should be saved. Now here what I will do is I will take a student object as a parameter. What I am taking as a parameter of the method? Student object. What is that student object will represent? Form data. Form data. Let me print that system.out.println of S. What is the S here? Student object. What is this method? Post mapping method. In this JSP, let me take one TR. Let me write one button. Okay. So leave this. Here I am writing normal input tag. Submit tag not available in the tag library. Input type is equal to what? Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to save. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to save. Okay. Now run this application. I'm just creating one field, guys. I want to submit that one field. Localhost colon 8080. Yes, my field is displaying. My button is also displaying. What data came in the field now? Raja. Now let's change it to Rani. I added the name as Rani. Now go to console, clear our console, click on save method. I have saved it. Am I able to get the data? Am I able to get the data? Now, what about the email, gender, course timings? Not available. Those variables are not available. So in the form, which field available? Only name available. Now I am giving the name as some Ganesh. Okay, click on save. Now check the console. Am I able to get the name as Ganesh into my object? Now tell me, am I writing any logic to capture the form data, or automatically that form data coming into my student object? Is it coming automatically, or I am mapping that? We are mapping. How that field data coming to my student class name variable? How that is text field data mapped to my variable? Path attribute. Okay. Now I want to display one more text field called email. I want to display one more text field called email. Now, I'm going to give as email form colon input path. Email field data should be stored to which variable? Email variable. Now go here, give path is equal to email. For the name, path is name. For the email, path is email. Okay. Now clear the console. Go here, refresh. Now let me go to home page. Yes. Am I able to get the email data? Why email field is empty? From my controller, I'm not sending the data. Remove it. So if my object is having data, the data will populate in the form. Object data will go to form. Form data will come to object. That is called form binding. If you want to, suppose for example, I have a record. If I click on the edit, what should happen? When I click on the edit option, what will happen? Data should be pre-populated. At that time, can I use this technique to pre-populate the data? Can I use this technique to pre-populate the data? Yes or no? When I am inserting the record, my fields will be empty. Suppose I want to edit the record. When I click on the edit, what should happen? Existing data should be displayed in the field. So that's why your object data can display in the form and the form data can be stored into the object. Form binding. Java class data I can send into the form field. Form fields data I can send it to the Java object. That's why I have given the arrow both sides. Form data can be stored into object. Object data can be displayed in the form. That is called form binding. How my MVC understanding relation between the form and the class? Model attribute. In the form, multiple fields available. In the class, multiple variables available. How it is mapping? Which field to which variable? Path attribute. By using path attribute. Okay. Now let's refresh this page now. Let me go and refresh this page. Field is displaying now. Let me go to here. Save this controller. Remove this data. Nothing available. Now go here. With this name is empty. I want to display empty form. When you want to bind your object to empty form, we need to send a empty object in the model. Now I am creating empty object in the model. Why empty object I created in the model? Why I am storing empty object in the model? I want to display form as empty because it is a new student form. My form should display empty. For that, I'm creating empty object. I'm sending the empty object to the model. For example, if I don't do this, what is the problem? If I don't do this, what will happen now? Go to index, execute. What happened? Error. Why this error? Why this error? Can you read this error? Neither binding result nor plain target object for the being named student available as a request attribute. Boss, I am unable to identify what is this student. I don't know what is this student. You are asking me to map this form to student object, but I don't know what is student. Who should send that student object? Controller should send that object to the UI. So how controller will send that object to the UI? By using model attribute. Now you understand why I am sending empty object in the model? Remember, in the servlet, we have a request. Instead of request, here we will use a model. Model is used to send the data from controller to UI in the form of key and value. For example, if I don't send this student object to the UI, then I cannot bind this form to student object. Able to follow me? If I don't do this operation, I cannot bind a student object to this form. So that's why my method is sending one empty student object to the UI. In the UI, I am binding that object to my form. model attribute is equal to student. That means this form is binded to student class object. And I'm having path attribute. What is the meaning of a path attribute? Form field is binded to Java class variable. That's it. So what is the advantage with this approach? Do we have any advantage or we don't have any advantage? Do we have any advantage or we don't have any advantage? We have an advantage. What is that advantage? I can pre-populate my form with the existing data and I can capture the form data into my object. Okay. Similarly, now I want gender. Now go for one more TR, table row. I need to display gender. One radio button or multiple radio buttons? Right. Yeah. I'm going form colon radio button. If you have a list, then you can go for that. Next level. Form colon radio button. What is the path? What is the path I need to give here? Gender. Why gender? This is the variable name. Form colon radio button. Path is equal to gender. Here I will give it as a male. Now refresh our web page. Am I getting male as a radio button? Yes, I'm getting male as a radio button. Similarly, let's go and add female radio button as well. Yeah, female. Okay. Yes. Refresh. Yes. Now we are getting to radio buttons. Now here we need to set the value. When you select male radio button, I want to send M to the controller. When you select the female radio button, I want to send F to the controller. Now refresh. Now what happened? Male and female radio buttons are available. Now let me select some value. Raju, email ID and gender is male. Go to console, clear our console, no data available. Click on save. Now go to console, name is Raju, email, gender is coming as M. Am I able to capture my form data? Yes. Here in my form, I am giving action attribute. In my form, I am giving action attribute. Action is equal to save. So whenever you click on the submit button, it will call this method. For this method, what is the parameter? Student object is a parameter. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? Now here, who is capturing the data from the form and who is storing into student object? Who is giving the student object as a parameter to my controller method? Who will call our controller method? Who will call our controller method? Dispatcher servlet. So who should pass that student object to my method? Dispatcher servlet. Where is the data? UI. User click on submit. Then who will receive my request? My request will be received by dispatcher servlet. Then what the dispatcher servlet is doing? Handler mapper. Handler mapper told that second method is required. For second method, student object is a parameter. Then what the dispatcher servlet will do? In the request, it will check the data and it will check the student class. Student class variables are matching with the request data. So request data it will take, store into student object, pass the student object as a parameter to our controller method. Along with the student object, it is passing model object. What is the purpose of the student object parameter? What is the purpose of the model parameter? Come on, guys. Come on. What is the purpose of student? What is the purpose of model? Student object is used to capture form data in the object format. What is the purpose of a model? What is the purpose of model? Model is used to send data from controller to UI. Can I send one success message to the UI? Yes. How can I do that? Model dot add attribute of key comma value. Key I am giving as a message. Now here data saved. I just want to print a message, data saved. Key. So modal.add attribute. It is used to send the data from controller to UI. In that UI, I want to access the message. Do you know how to access the message in the UI? Key. Go to this index.jsp. In this, I am going to use P now dollar of message. I want to display that message in the green color. How to display that in the green color? Font color is equal to green I am giving. I want to display that in the green color. Okay. Now go here, refresh our page. Refresh our page, clear the console. Now go back, enter some details, Raju, email, gender, click on save. Are we getting that message now? Yes. Form data is going to controller, success message coming to the view. Form data going to controller, success message coming to the view. Now you see my method here. You see my method. My method is binded to post request. There are two methods available. What is the purpose of these two methods? One method is binded to get request. Another method is binded to post request. Why the first method binded to get request? Why the second method binded to post request? Come on. First method is used to load the page. First method is used to load the page. Second method is used to handle submit button. Method name can be anything. URL pattern is important. Right. First method to load the page. Second method to handle the submit button. Why I am taking student and model as parameters for the second method? For first method, why only model as a parameter? Come on guys, sit properly. Why I am taking only model as a parameter in the first method? In the first method, I only want to send data from controller to UI. To send the data from controller to UI, model object is sufficient. In the second method, I need to take the form data and I need to send the success message. To take the form data, student object I am taking as a parameter. What is the student? Form binding class. Why model? To send a success message from controller to UI. Are you guys clear with this? Yes. Now, similarly, can I add remaining fields also? Course. What is the course? Drop down. Okay. Let's go here. Currently, I'm hard coding the values for the drop down. Later, I will get it from the database. Now, let me take one more TR. Let me take one more TR. Now, TD set course. Course. And I need a drop down. To display a drop down, what is the tag? What is the tag in the form tag library to display a drop down? Form colon select. Okay, go here. Input, sorry, form colon select and path is equal to course. Form colon select, path is equal to course. Now refresh my page, remove this. Now course coming. Any data coming in the drop down? Now how to display the data in the drop down? Option. I need to go for form colon option. Observe. Form colon option. Value is equal to empty. First one is a empty select. I want to display a message called select. Now I'm adding one option. Okay. Refresh. Am I getting the select now? Yes. Select is coming. Any data coming in the drop down? No. Let us add other options. Right. So here I will give it as a Java. I want to display this as a Java here. And this is Python. Select Python. And here DevOps. Some value. Later, I will fetch from the database. Okay. Now refresh. Now go to course. Am I able to get the drop-down options? Can I select it? Yes. Text field available. Gender is available. And course drop down is also available. What is the next step? Timings. How I need to display timings? Check boxes. I need to display that as a checkbox. Okay, let us take this. One checkbox or multiple? Multiple. Timings. Remove this. Okay, I will go for form colon checkbox. Path is timings. Okay, first one I will give as a morning, and for this I will give value as morning, something like this. Now refresh. Am I getting the checkbox as morning? Similarly, I need to add two other checkboxes also. Checkbox. One is morning, evening, afternoon, something like this. Afternoon, form colon checkbox, path, same. Just I need to copy paste this. And here I will give noon, and here I will give as evening. Perfect. Right? Go here, refresh. Yes. Are we getting the form what we expected? Name, email, gender, course, timings. Whatever we have expected, that form is coming for us. Now, select the name, something like this, email and gender, course, DevOps, timings, morning and evening. I'm comfortable. Okay. Now go to here, clear the screen and click on submit. Yeah. Data saved. Go to the console, name Raju, email, gender, course is DevOps, timings, morning and evening. See the beauty? Am I capturing the form data, or it is automatically captured and stored into my object? Suppose if it is a servlet, we need to capture form data by using request.get parameter. How many fields are available to capture? Total 3 plus 2, 5 fields are available. Suppose if there is any number, convert the string value to the number value. Here, my variable is a array type. Who is converting this checkboxes data into array of values? Am I doing that conversion, or there is a flexibility in the conversion? There is a flexibility in the conversion. Go to our first class on the web MVC. What is the first one I told? Form binding. What is the meaning of form binding? Form data we can display in the field. Field data we can capture into object. First advantage. What is the second advantage? Flexibility in the form binding. What is the meaning of flexibility in the form binding? Type conversion. The data will be converted to corresponding data type. Next one. Third advantage. Multiple presentation technology. What is the current one we are using? JSP. What is the other one? Timely. Okay. Next, fourth one. What is the fourth advantage of WebMVC? Form tag library. What is the meaning of that? Ready-made tags are available. Now, in order to display a drop-down, there is a tag called form colon select. For radio button, form colon radio button. For checkboxes, form colon checkbox. For the form colon form. For text field, form colon input. For example, I want to display one text area. Suppose student want to give some note. You can go for form colon text area. Like when I want to capture some address, then I can go for a tag called form colon text area. What is the difference between input and text area? Input is one line text. Text area means multiple lines text that we can take. So text area is also available. So with this, are we able to develop the form? And are we able to capture the form? Yes. Now look at this form tag library I have used. Look at the form tag library I'm using. Okay. First one I'm using form : form. Action is equal to save. Model attribute is equal to student. Method is equal to post. What is the meaning of action? Whenever you submit that form, how that form should be submitted. First of all, who is loading this form? My first method. What is this method is doing? Why I am giving slash as a URL pattern? Empty URL. If I click localhost : 8080, first method will be called. What that first method is doing? It is creating one empty student object and it is setting that object into model object and it is returning view. Okay. Index is a view. Model. Model is used to set the data from controller to UI. Any data that you want to send from controller to UI, that can be done by using model attribute. Are you guys clear with my point? Now, let us make one change. Currently in the JSP, I have hard-coded drop-down values. I have hard-coded my drop-down values. Now here, let me create one class that is student service. I'm creating a class with a name called student service in dot ashok it dot service. Right. Student service is available. Let us make this as a service @service. Now here I am writing one method get courses. I'm writing one method public list of string get courses. Public list of string get courses. Now return arrays dot as list of, I will give some course names: Java, some Python, AWS, DevOps. Got it? Now this is my data to display in the drop down. I don't want to hard code in the JSP. I want to send it from controller to UI to populate my drop down data. Now this is my service layer method. Inject that service in the controller. Okay. Private student service. Now service. I will go for auto void. Now when my form is loading, along with the student data, I want to send my courses also. Now here model dot add attribute courses of service dot get courses. Now tell me what I am doing in the line number 22 and what I am doing in the line number 24. 22 and 24. Come on, guys. In line number 22, I'm setting empty student object in the model. What is model? Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. Okay. Model dot add attribute, student is the key, student object is the value. What is the purpose of this line? I'm sending student object to the view to bind to the form. I want to bind my student object to the form. Then what is this 24 line number? What is the purpose of 24 line number? I'm sending courses data to display in the drop down. Okay. Now in the index.jsp, I'm writing hard-coded options. Remove them. Now I want to send the options from controller. Okay. Form : options. When I go for form : options, I will give items. I have a list already. that list values I want to populate in the drop down. What is the key for that list? What is the list? What is the key for that? Courses. Who is sending the courses? Controller is sending in the model. So this is the key. Service.get courses. What is this method will return? List of courses. Okay. Now courses comma service.get courses. So you can do that in the two ways, guys. You can remove it from here. You can call it here. You can store that into a variable. You can store that into a variable list of string course list. List of string course list. Okay. That course list you can pass as a value. Or else directly you can call the method in this. Or else you call the method. You store that into a variable. That variable you can pass here. Got it? Now what is the key to access the courses? Courses. Go to these courses, index.jsp. Earlier I was writing option 1, option 2, option 3. Now I am writing options manually. I am directly giving my items. Right. Form colon options, items. Items represents a collection to print the value as the drop down option. Now save this. Go to this and refresh our form. Server is running, not running. Okay, run the server, run as boot application. Run as boot application. Clear the console. Now, yes. Courses are coming now. So these values are hard-coded in the UI. These values are coming from the backend. So now, for my course drop-down, values are coming from the backend. How I am printing backend data in the front-end drop-down? Just to one tag, form colon options, items is equal to dollar of courses. What is this dollar of courses? What is the dollar of courses? It is a key which is holding list of courses. When I give items is equal to dollar of courses, whatever the data available in the list, that data pre-populated in the drop down. Morning JRTP class requirement also same. Plan name should have the drop down value. Plan status should have the drop down value. From where the plan name and plan status will come? From the back end only. Are you guys clear? So there is a relation with this topic to develop the first mini project. Understood? Today morning, one person sent an email to me. Sir, how you are able to remember all these classes and methods? How you are able to remember all these topics? And he asked me, sir, will you refer the concept before coming to the class? How you will remember all these concepts? You are teaching different courses, different technology. How you will remember? Could you please tell me? I will also follow that. How? Experience. We don't get the time to revise. We don't get the time to study. It's based on the experience. I told you, right? So it's not, I did not become a good programmer in one day or in 1 year or in 1 month. It took 10 years. It's not small time, right? I struggled. Kutta jaisa kaam kiya tha company mein, day and night. Worked like a dog. 10 years. So with that experience, we are able to teach all these subjects, right? And one more important thing is, when we to explain whatever the subject I know. So slowly, when I'm talking with the people regarding the subject, my teaching skill got improved. Right? So every year, every batch, same concepts will be available. Minor updates will be available. As we are working in the projects, 8 hours, 9 hours, we will work with the same Java. So whatever we develop once, that will be registered in the brain. Do I need to read form tag library every day? To be frank, this form tag library I have used in the 2018 last time. That was the last time I worked with the form tag library in my company. From 2018, in my project, JSP not available. We are using Angular. So when I go for Angular, do I need form tag library? Not required. But still, how I am able to remember? Once at that time, I worked with form tag library. That is what I'm telling. Once you do practice with your hands, that will be registered in your brain. You no need to read it multiple times, right? In the Java, so many classes available, so many methods available, so many topics are available. Whatever you ask, I will able to answer that. The reason I have used those concepts in my project, they are registered in my brain. So I no need to read any book to revise all these concepts. For you, you are not implemented anything on your own. For you, it is difficult to remember because remembering the coding is the biggest challenging task. You cannot remember, you should not remember. So you just need to implement. If you practice, if you write it today, if you develop this form with a tag library, that will register in your brain. After 2 years also, if somebody asks you, what is tag library? Array, we need to import one URL. Form data can be stored to object. Object data can be stored to form. Form colon input, form colon select, form colon radio, radio button, checkbox. That idea will come. So that is the difference between reading and writing. So which is important for the developer? Writing is the most important part. Several times we have written this coding in the projects. So that's why easily we are able to write the code. On the fingertips, we can just tell you whatever you ask. But for you, you are a fresher. It will take time. So that's what when you are doing a programming course, you should spend more time for coding, not for reading the book. So you need to throw your books. You start writing the code. If you get a problem, go to Google, search for the problem, get the solution, implement that solution. So that is how you need to improve your coding skill. I told you several times in the project batch, coding is not something that you will learn in one day. It is daily learning process. Every day you have to learn that. So even for me, after 10 years also, there are so many concepts which I also don't know in the Java. That means I did not get the chance to work with those concepts in my project. In the Java, there is a concept called AWT. I don't know what is that because in this 10 years of time, I did not work with AWT. There is a concept called swings. There is a concept called applet. Those are used to develop GUI applications by using Java, desktop application by using Java. I never developed a desktop project in the Java. My applications are web and web services, RESTful services, microservices. So I don't know what is that swing, what is that applet, what is that AWT. So I did not do the coding. If I read the swing today, maybe after 1 week I will forget that because practical experience is not there. So theoretically, if you want to teach me swings, within 1 day I can prepare, I can teach it. But after 1 month, I will also forget that because I did not practice it. So practice will make you perfect. If you, how many times you practice, that much subject you will learn. And start discuss subject with your friends. Whatever you understand in the class, you explain to your friends, then your knowledge will increase. Okay, guys. So when you share your knowledge, then only your knowledge will increase. As we are teaching this Spring Boot microservices from couple of years, we got very good knowledge on the Spring Boot. Getting? So if you just see my code, if you just buttify, if you copy paste, no use. You need to do it on your own. You need to learn that skill. You need to improve problem solving skill. When you get some problem, how to resolve that problem. That is the important part. Got it? Yes. Now, so here I'm able to display drop down options. How I am able to display drop down options? I'm getting the list of courses from the service method. These courses I want to display in the form. In the drop down, I want to display my courses. So here there is a method. That method is responsible to load that page. There is a method. That method is responsible to load that page. Got it? In this method only, I'm sending the data to the UI. This method already returning the view page along with the student object. In the same method, I'm adding my courses so that my courses will display in the drop down. For that, I'm using options. When to go for option? When to go for options? If you want to display a single value, you will go for option. If you want to display list of values, you can go for items with options. Items is equal to courses. What is this courses? It is a key that I'm sending from controller to UI in the model object. Got it? Now, the beauty is this options tag will iterate this list and will print in the drop down. Okay. Similarly, I'm having checkbox. I'm having checkbox. So here, checkboxes, I'm writing manually. 3 checkboxes I have. For example, I need to display 20 checkboxes. How can I do that? Will I hard code in the JSP? Do I need to hard code the checkbox in the JSP? I want to get the checkboxes also from the backend. Okay. Let me go for service class. Let me create one more method. Now, get timings. Get timings. Now, morning, afternoon, and evening. Currently, I am hard coding in the Java. Actually, we need to fetch it from the database. Right. Get timings. Right. Now, can I call that method here? Can I send the timings also to the UI? Tell me, how can I send the timings to the UI? Come on, guys. Model dot add attribute of, let me give preferred timings. Service dot get timings. Preferable timings and service dot get timings. What is the key? Preferred timings. Go to JSP. Should I write the checkbox separately now? No. So here I have checkboxes, a collection, form colon, check boxes. Items. What are the items? Dollar, preferable timings. What is the path? Timings. That is a array. Whatever checkbox you select, that will be stored into timings variable. Now form colon checkboxes items is equal to dollar of preferred timings, path is equal to timings. Now run this project. Clear. Okay, refresh it. Yes, are we getting the timings now? Drop down values also coming here. Right. So with this our form is ready. With this our form is ready, but there is a bug in our development. When I submit the form, it will fail. Okay, see here. My form is loaded. Which method is loading that form? Which method is loading that form? Load index page method is loading this form. Now, guys, can I optimize this code now? Can I optimize this? Instead of calling the method, storing in the variable, use the variable. Can I take this line and can I keep it here? Yes, with one line, form completed. Similarly here also, yes, creating the student object, storing in the variable and passing the variable. Instead of that, can I directly create the student object here? Yes, remove this line. So total, what is happening here? What is happening here? I am writing 3 lines of code to set the data to the model. Student object I am setting to the model. Courses I am setting to the model. Timings also I am setting to the model. And finally I am returning index. What is index here? View page. What is the model here? What is the model here? Model is used to set the data in the form of key value and send the data to the view. What is the view name? Index. That's it. Now refresh. Go to our page. Refresh. Form is loaded as expected. Drop down data coming. Is it a hard coded data or coming from the controller? Coming from the controller. Is it a hard coded in the UI or not a hard coded in the UI? not hard coded in the UI. Timings hard coded in the UI, not hard coded in the UI. Not hard coded in the UI. Okay, let me show you the problem in our code. Let me type this Rani, email, something like this, and gender, course AWS, morning and evening. Okay, fine. Now observe. When I click on submit button, then what will happen? This method will be called. That is clear. When I submit this form, this method will be called. What this method is doing now? Capturing student object with the form data, printing the data on the console, and setting a message in the model. That message will be printed on the JSP page. Okay, observe. See carefully, there is a problem in the code. I'm clicking on save. Before clicking on the save, see our console. Any message available in the console? Not available in the console. Now click on save. Failed. It is failed. Come to console. Check it. Am I able to capture form data? Am I able to capture form data? Yes, I'm able to capture my form data. Name is equal to Rani. Email is equal to given value. Gender is equal to female. Courses is equal to AWS. Timings I selected as morning and evening. That means my form submission is success. My form submission is success. I got the form data. I printed the form data on the console. After printing the form data on the console, then what I am doing? I am returning index. I'm returning index. What is the meaning of index? Load the index page. Now observe here, for every request, new model object will be created. Understand my point? For every request, new model object will be created. What is the purpose of model object? What is the purpose of model object? Model object is used to send the data from controller to UI. Now observe, when I send a request for this method, my form loaded successfully. Why? Because when I access this URL, the request is going to first method. The request is going to first method. What that first method is doing? That first method is loading some data to the model. Model object is created. Model object is sent to my method. My method is storing the data in the model, and my method is returning the index page. Now, when the index page is loaded for the first time, this courses is available in the model. These timings also available in the model. As the courses and timings are available in the model, my form is loaded with the drop-down data and checkboxes data. Are you clear? Fine. Now here, I'm clicking on submit button. I'm sending a request with the timings and all. I'm clicking on save button. When I click on the save button, what will happen? Request will go to second method. In the second method, what is happening? New model object is created. When the new model object is created, any data available in the model or data not available in the model, it is a fresh model object. It is a fresh model object. In that model object, data is not available. After this, student object came. Model object also created. Data printing on the console. I'm storing message in the model. I'm returning the index. But for the index page, courses is required, timings is required, which are not coming in the model. Are you guys getting my point here? First time, when I load the form, that means when I send the request to this URL, this method is getting called. In this method, what I am doing? Setting the data to the model, returning the index page. When the first time this method is called, when the index page is loaded, model object is having the courses and the timings. Clear? As the courses, the timings available in the cap 1. Naveen, beside that guy, what are you doing, man? Stand up. Why I am teaching, man? Why should I get the throat pain and all? How much interesting topic I'm teaching, you are doing like this. What are you checking down? Using mobile? Then why your head is down? If you are not interested, you can leave the class. I don't have any issue. If you are in the class, you have to concentrate. I'm not requesting you to come to the class daily. If you are interested, then only come. If you are not interested, don't come. I will not lose anything. It is not, this course is not for me. Realize, if this course is for you, not for me. I'm teaching with this much interest and my voice is increasing. I'm getting throat pain also. Still I am speaking loudly. I want to inject the subject, but you are not ready to take that. क्या फायदा है भाई? Teachers literally, as a teacher, I'm telling you, we will lose the interest when our students are not concentrating when we are explaining. That will disturb our mind. Teaching is not that much easy. We need to focus on a lot of things. We need to recall the subject in our, which is there in our brain. I'm not reading a book here. Whatever is there in my brain, I have to recall. I have to explain. I have to repeat it. I have to write the code and I have to observe the people. When I look at the people, if somebody using mobile, then what will happen? It will impact on my brain. Definitely it will impact on my brain. Not only me, it will happen with every teacher. When we are explaining with a lot of intention, when you are doing something else, that will impact on our brain. Whatever we want to teach, we will forget that. Are you getting my point? If you people are not concentrating, what will happen? Whatever I am trying to recall, I will forget that. That will not come into my brain. Then I will skip that topic. Understand? How much subject you want to take from me, that is in your hands. How much subject you want to take from us, that is in your hand. If you are using mobile, if you are doing something else, my brain will disturb. My focus will disturb first of all. If my focus is disturbed, I cannot recall the content what I have to explain. It will disturb everyone in the class. Please don't do that. If anybody not interested, just get lost. I don't need. I'm not looking for strength. I want only quality, not quantity. I'm very sure about this. Are you getting my point? If you want to sit in the class, you stay focused. Otherwise, you leave. This course is not for my job, not for my life. Sit down. Right. So here, I forgot what I am teaching now. Fine. So here I'm trying to send a request to the URL. When I send a request to this URL, my method is getting called. For this method, model object I'm taking as a parameter. Dispatcher servlet will call our method by creating one model object. Model is basically a map which is used to store the data in the form of key and value. So for every request, dispatcher servlet will create a new model. That model it is passing as a parameter to our method. That model it is passing to our method as a parameter. Then in that model, I'm setting some data and I'm returning view page. So in this method, whatever the data you are passing to this model, you will be accessing that data in this view page. Once this view page is loaded, that model object will be deleted from the container. Getting my point? Whatever the data you have in the model, that model data will be available till your page is rendered in the browser. Once your page is rendered in the browser, that model object will be removed from the container. Okay, my page is loaded. After my page got loaded, I'm setting the data to the form and I'm trying to submit the form. My form submission is happening successfully. But the problem is my page is not reloading properly. Now when I click on save method, I got the error. Go to the console. Form data coming or form data not coming? Form data coming. After getting the form data, I'm printing the form data on the console. After printing form data on the console, again I'm setting the data to the model. So here, whatever the model I'm taking, The previous model object, this model object same, both are different. Both are different. So whatever the data I stored into previous model, I lost that data. I lost that data. After that, I'm returning index. Now, when the index page is loaded, I'm using items is equal to dollar of courses. Now, when this method returning the view in this model, items available or items not available? Items not available. So items will be null value. That's why we are getting the exception. Items must not be null. When my form is submitted, I'm redirecting to the same page. For the same page, courses timings are required as a collection. That collection data not available in my model object. That's why your form is not able to reload. In order to do this, I need to set up these 2 lines of code or these 3 lines of code in this method also. Okay, got my point? Once this form is submitted, I will store the data into database. Then I want to load the same page. To load the same page, I need one empty student object to clear the form data, and I need courses to display in the drop down. I need timings to display as a checkboxes. Now observe. Go back, refresh our page. Page is loaded. Now clear our console. Name Rani, email, female, course Python, afternoon. Now go to console. Nothing is there. Click on save. Data saved. Empty form is loaded. Now why empty form is loaded? In this model, I am setting empty student object. Form data will be cleared. And I'm sending the courses again. I'm sending the timings again. Why I'm sending again? Because I want to load the same page. For the same page, items are required. But is it recommended to write the same code at 2 places? Is it recommended to write the same code at 2 places? Can I call it as a duplicate code? Yes, this is called as a duplicate code. Now, how can I avoid the duplicate code? Write in one method, call that method from the 2 places. Are you guys getting my point? Now, here if you see 23, 24, 25, 35, 36, 37, same code I am writing at 2 places. Instead of writing the same code at 2 places, write this code in one method, call that method from the 2 places. Clear? How can I do it in the easiest approach? See, this is the code and this is the code. I want to keep this code in the separate method. That method I want to call from here. That method I want to call from here. Shortcut. Observe. Select this piece of code. Right click, refactor, extract method. Whatever the code you want to keep in the method, you just select that piece of code. Select that piece of code. See here. How many places my code is available? 2 places my code is available. In the first method as well as in the second method. Now, let me select this code, right click, refactor, extract method. When I click on extract method, it is asking what is the method name you want. I want the method name as form init binding. Form init binding. Any name you can give. You can give M1 also. Click on OK. Now, what happened? Am I calling that method or it is automatically getting called? So whenever I extract it, it identified in this class, wherever that piece of code available, it removed that code and it called the method which I have created. Shall I show you once again? Yes, observe. So now you see what is, let me stop this, stop the server. Now you see, so there is method 1 and method 2 available. In the method 1, 3 lines of code, same 3 lines available in the second method also. What is the purpose of these 3 lines of code? To load my form with the data. To load my form with the data. That is required for the first method as well as it is required for the second method. Generally, what I need to do? I need to take this, cut this, write a method, keep in the method, call the method. No need to do that. Shortcut is there. Right. Now, observe. So here, select these 3 lines of code. Now, right click, refactor, extract method. What is the meaning of that? Whatever the code I have selected, extract that code into one method and call that method wherever that code is available. So wherever that code is available, in two places that code available. So cut the code from there, keep that in a method, call that method in the place of that code. Got it? Now observe. So select these three lines. It is available in the first method, available in the second method. Now select it, right click, refactor, extract method. What is the name you want for the method? Anything, right? I'm going to take it as init. You can give any name for that. Now, what is the parameter for that method? It is identifying that. In these three lines, I'm using a model variable. So model is required as a parameter. Click on, this is how the method will be prepared. Click on OK. Then what happened? That method is replaced with the init. Now go to the second method. What happened? Yes, that code is removed and init method kept there. So what is the meaning of this init now? Whenever you send a request for the first method, what it will do? It will pass the model object to init method. Whatever init method will do, add the data to the model object. Whenever you call the second method, what will happen? It will also call the init method. What this init method will do? Set the data to the model object. Got it? Yes. Now remove the unwanted packages. Yes. Now let's go here. Run our application. Run as boot application. My console started. Yes, good. Now go to the project. Remove this. Yes. Page is loaded. Page is loaded. Data coming or not? Yes, data coming. Name Rani, email ID, female, course is DevOps. Two options I have selected. Click on save. Data saved, and again my drop down data, checkboxes data available. Now go to console. Now can you see? Form data came in the form of object. Yes, we got the form data in the object. So with this, we are able to understand what is form tag library in the MVC. What is the purpose of form tag library in the MVC? What is the purpose of form tag library in the MVC? Form tag library is used to develop forms easily. It is used to develop the forms easily. Ready-made tags are available. Form tag, input, password, radio button, select, option, options, checkbox, checkboxes, hidden, text area. Like that, there are several predefined tags are available. What else is pending in this project? Now, currently, I am sending hard-coded data. I need to get the data from the database table. And currently, when I click on submit, I'm printing the data on the console. I need to store the data into database table. Got it? So now I need three tables. One is for courses, one is for timings, one is for student data. Total three tables I need to use. In one table, I will maintain courses data. I will get it for the drop down. In one table, I will maintain timings data. I will get it for the drop down. Checkboxes, sorry, checkboxes. Another table, student table. What is the purpose of student table? To store our student data into database table. Got it? Yes. Any questions? You can do it, but not recommended. I mean, front end layer will be separate, back end layer will be separate. Tomorrow, your front end will be not Java. Your front end will be Angular. Then this class will not be there in the Angular. Yeah, guys, online people, any questions, anyone? Yeah, guys, you can unmute your mic and you can ask what is the question you have. Online people.
When is the next step of batch starting?
next DevOps batch. So it will take another 1 month time for me.
Okay, sir. One of my friend told to ask that.
Sure.
Sir, in yesterday, sir, I am facing one issue, sir.
Sorry.
Regarding with the request param.
Huh.
I'm sharing my screen, sir.
Sorry, can you come again?
The data is not mapping to the UI pages.
The data, guys, keep quiet.
And
Come again.
The exception showing in that like request ID, request parameter ID. Just a minute, sir. Required request parameter ID for method parameter type integer is not present.
You need to maintain the proper key for that. Share your screenshot of your controller and UI in the WhatsApp group. I will tell the solution of that. Okay.
Just.
Sir, you have used a new student, right? In the student controller. Why did you use that?
I told you that na, to bind this form data to the object. So when I send this new student, that means this student object will be mapped to form by using this model attribute. Otherwise, how can you map your form to the object? How you will map your object to the form? That's why when in my controller init method, I created new student object and I store it in the model with a key. Using this key, I am mapping that to the form using model attribute. It is used for form mapping. That's it.
Okay.
Sir, what is the difference between model and view?
Sir, model, it is a key here. It is a map, kind of a map to store the data. It is an interface basically to send the data from controller to view. Model attribute, this is a tag attribute to bind the form data to the object. Both are different. Got it?
Sir, like yesterday we used model and view.
Yes, either you can use model and view or you can use model. Model and view is a class, model is an interface.
Like this will extend that
No. They are different. I will explain in the coming classes. What is the difference?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
New student we are creating, right? It is an object.
Sorry?
Can't we new student?
Yes.
Can't you do it as like a bean so that container will manage?
Binding classes we don't make as a beans, guys. Binding classes we don't make as a bean. Binding classes, that means these are just POJO classes. We'll create the objects for them. Got it?
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Nishan
Yeah,
this
hi.
side. Sir, yesterday you used at the request param to receive the data from the form. But
Sir,
today you
there
just
request param to take single value, sir, a single value, which is
Okay,
coming
sir.
in the URL. Okay. When you
Okay.
want to take all the form data, just object is sufficient. It will map
Oh.
that data.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Request param, if you want to take a single value based on the key. Today, I don't want to take value by value. I want to take all the values at a time.
Okay, sir. So for that I use model attribute for mapping. Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, right now we have only one controller. That's why slash is going by default to that controller. Suppose if you have two controllers.
You need to give different URL pattern for that. Okay. Every controller method should be having unique URL pattern.
Mhm.
If you have two controllers also, your URL pattern should be unique. Understand?
Yeah.
Sir, are you going to explain the inserting the data into the tables for the
Yes.
application?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Sir, last time you didn't get the JSP file, right? When you were adding
Yes, sir. I have
JSP.
installed a plugin in the IDE. I will send that plugin in the group.
Yeah.
Today morning in the JRTP class, I have installed that plugin. I will send you that plugin details in the group. Okay,
Okay, sure.
good. Thank you guys. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow's class.